Gary, how involved have you been with advising the board on their decision to reject Derby's bid from Luke Thomas?
Um, well, obviously, as the manager, you've got to be heavily involved as far as they ask your opinion, like they ask every one of the other board members' opinions. My opinion never changes. I think he'll get looked after here. I think already from 9 years old to 16, and he's on the bench for the first team. He trains with the first team every day. Not going to get that anywhere else. And I think this is the place for him to develop best. Of course, we've got to keep talking to Luke, got to talk to his parents, which we hope's on the horizon, where we can explain that we think he's got a great career in football, and he's going to need to time all his moves well. My opinion is that he's as a father of a son who came through this whole system and had different problems, and was at a smaller club, then went to a higher club, it didn't work out, had to come to a smaller club, and before you know it, you've lost your sort of teenage years to under 21 football, when really at 18, 19, 17, 18, 19 you should be playing first team games for someone. That's what I believe. So that's my opinion, and still is. And I think, as I said before, when someone's had 50 games in Cheltenham's first team, then they'll be ready for someone to come and make a significant offer that suits everybody. At the moment, there's enough interest in him, and quite rightly, because he's a good player, that you don't have to jump in with both feet at any offer that comes in right this minute, because nobody really knows what his true potential is going to be just yet. And if he's a Lionel Messi, then we don't want to be giving a Lionel Messi away at 16 when he can help this football club grow in stature and try and get up the leagues.
It's bizarre, isn't it, that the competition for players and the money that's paid for players seems to be much younger these days. I'm presuming you're not getting offers of similar levels for players who are in your first team on a regular basis.
No, not at the moment we're not. I think the academy system has got their own system of figures, and so there is a sort of like a base figure that everybody warrants, depending on how many years they've been at the club, etc, etc. But Luke's at the stage now anyway where those figures don't come into play. I think it's over a certain age or whatever it is, but they don't come into play, so it's really just negotiating if that's what you want to do. But at the moment, the kid's local, he's getting on with the lads, he's certainly playing a big part in training. Nobody's looking at him and thinking, no, he's in our team, we're bound to lose today in a five-a-side out here. He's done very, very well, and he needs to keep going, and hopefully all these people will be there and thereabouts when he comes through properly.
I know there's only 3 points at stake, but how different is this week compared to the hoo-ha of the build-up of last week's game? I suppose just as important this week's the main thing, isn't it? Yeah,
I don't think the hoo-ha wasn't here, was it? In-house, it was outhouse sort of thing, and we were a little bit disappointed that we didn't quite get our game going. I'm always disappointed when I don't see our game for long enough. We had it for short periods of the game, but anyway, we kept them behind us. There's been a couple of good results this week for us. Chester and Dover drawing, and Woking beating Tranmere, and Lincoln drawing last night with Boreham Wood. So they were good results, but we've got to keep getting results to try and you're always just going to have your nose in front. You're never going to be 10 furlongs in the lead, to use a Cheltenham racecourse saying. But so there's always going to be teams quite close to you. But the more points you can pick up now, the easier it will be at the end of the season.
I suppose Aldershot on a bad run at the moment. So is it just a case of making sure that you, I suppose, continue that for them?
Well, they're on a bad run, but they drew with Bradford and then went to Bradford and had a replay. So we don't know, and all we know is that we've got to be on top form, and Aldershot have got to be, not at their best, and generally that happens if a team wins, and the manager will say we're not at our best if it loses. We've done well if it wins. So you have to treat Aldershot the same as you would not Forest, Forest Green, and Wrexham and teams like that, because that's the next big game that you got. So I'm not going to let us sort of go away from how important every single game is.
And to be fair to your players, by and large, they've done that, haven't they? They've shown that trustworthiness.
Well, they've done it because we've made sure that we have our meetings, we have our their strengths and weaknesses. We work on our strengths and weaknesses, and they're all learning about the intensity of staying top of the league and staying in the title race, because I'm making sure that they see it, hear it all the time from me and my staff.
Tomorrow's the deadline for signing loan players. Any progress?
Yeah, there is progress. I mean, I did say to you fellas in secret, but you ended up putting it all over the radio and all over the papers. Everyone's worried now. That I was going to make a couple of signings, and you was right. I did try it. We've made one, but that's going to be out a little bit later on today. You'll be the first people that know when it works out. I don't think he's not a name that everybody straight away will go, oh yeah. But he's a player that we want to bring in as another striker. It's up till January again. We know him well. I say we, me, my brother who does our scouting. We know him well, and we're very pleased to have him here. He's a 6'2" striker that can play number 9 or number 10. So that gives us a nice little bit of leeway there. The centre half that we were bringing in, most players that come on loan at this stage want to play. No pro clubs are going to, give you somebody that you can say, well, he's going to be on the bench and he's going to be cover for us. They won't do that, because they may as well play in their reserves or their under 21. So that became difficult. But the good thing is, this I told you 2 or 3 games ago. But the good thing is now Downsy has only got one more game to survive before all his bookings are expunged, whatever it is. Yeah. So that's good. So we've got 3 centre halves at the moment, which is what you need in case we play 3, or in case I can always play 2. And I didn't want to bring anyone in and couldn't, that was going to sit on the bench. They wanted to come straight in. And how do you bring somebody straight in, excuse me, when you're top of the league? Very difficult to go, oh, sorry, Righty, Billy, you're top goal scorers, but I'm not playing you this week. You know what I mean? Or say to Downsy, you've played nearly every minute of every game. Or Pars, who put his head and put 6 stitches in his face, and sorry about that, chaps, and Dickie, who's playing well. So tell them they're not playing, because they've got us where we are. So the lad that's coming in knows the situation. He's willing to fight for his place, and he's a young lad that they want to give him the experience of the intensity of a team that's top of the league that plays a bit of football.
You mentioned Pars there. Is he okay, and everyone else okay for the weekend?
Yeah, he's okay. Some would say he couldn't get any uglier. No, that's terrible. He's a great lad, because he's always has a little bit of a laugh, and he enjoys other people having a laugh, and he can't laugh. He's got this big cut, and when you mustn't laugh or you can't laugh, it's very hard not to. Yeah, look, smiling, and even a smile cracks it up and starts it bleeding again. But no, he's fine now, and he's had his 3 or 4 days he's out of danger, let's say. Brave lad, and he's been a great signing for us, Parts, because he's a silent hero, really, and if people sort of look at the DVDs that we do and see what he does alongside the others, you'll see that he's well pulling his weight, and we're very pleased to have him.
Centre halves don't worry about flesh wounds, do they?
No, them war wounds are sort of like medals of courage, aren't they? You know, they like the old broken nose and scars on their eyebrows and cut lips.
Thank you.
No problem.
Just a quick one with Luke. How close is he to making the first team on a regular basis here?
I think he's closer than most 16-year-olds would be, that's for sure. And because he's been handling the rigours and the body contact of men's football in training every day, and he sung his song, got that out of the way, I have to do that again here anyway. He's close. He is close. I mean, I know at the moment he's playing for the youth team, it looks like he's a long way away, but he isn't a long way away. And what I'm hoping to do is mix a few of the lads for the Gloucester Cup on Tuesday, where Luke will play, and that will give him an opportunity to play with some of the pros in a competitive game, along with a couple of other young lads that we want to give an opportunity to.
Regarding it's the FA Trophy first round today, you've got a number of players out on loan that you've presumably got to make a decision on whether you want to cup tie them. Have you had that conversation with Gloucester? Yeah,
I've had that conversation with Gloucester, and because James Bowen and Hanksy has been there quite some time, and they're paying their wages, I felt it was only fair that we should allow them to not mess up, because we don't want them to win the trophy and then them not play the next week for whatever, because they won. But Harry Williams has only just gone there, so we've asked if it's okay that we don't cup tie Harry, because he's been on the bench there at the minute, because he's only just joined them. So that's what we've done with those three.
Okay.